Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Philip K. Dick. This reflective science fiction novel blends noir atmosphere with questions about empathy, artificial life, and what a person chooses to value. This guide is for readers who want artificial intelligence stories without getting buried in technical language. The theme is not just robots becoming clever. It is consciousness, ethics, trust, labor, memory, and control. The 6 books here give you a useful map instead of a random pile of famous titles. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Gives you the identity question. Neuromancer gives you networked intelligence and cyberpunk texture. Ex Machina. The screenplay gives you a compact test of manipulation and permission. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress gives you political systems and machine agency. Klara and the Sun gives you tenderness, observation, and quiet uncertainty. I, Robot gives you the rule-based tradition that shaped how many readers still talk about machine ethics. This is not a complete history of every AI novel. It is a practical reading stack for Amazon-friendly long-term discovery. Start with the kind of question that interests you most. If you want emotion, choose Klara. If you want classic logic, choose I, Robot. If you want unease, choose Philip K. Dick. If you want speed and style, choose Neuromancer. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Philip K. Dick. This reflective science fiction novel feels intimate, uneasy, and philosophical, with a future shaped by absence, imitation, and moral fatigue. This is the best pick here for readers who want artificial intelligence to feel like a human question before it feels like a technology question. The book is often linked with Blade Runner because of adaptation history, but the novel has its own texture and should not be treated as a movie substitute. It is shorter than many major science fiction classics, yet it leaves a lot for the reader to think about. The useful lens is empathy. The book asks how we decide what deserves care, what counts as authentic, and why people build tests when they are afraid their own instincts may not be enough. That makes it a strong first or second read in an AI list because it teaches the core mood of the theme. Artificial life is not only a threat or a tool, it becomes a mirror. Choose this if you like moral ambiguity, sparse world building, and a reading experience that feels slightly off balance. Skip it as your first pick only if you need warm characters, clean explanations, or a very direct adventure structure. It rewards patience more than speed. Neuromancer. William Gibson. This cyberpunk novel is dense, stylish, and electric, with artificial intelligence woven into networks, crime, language, and the texture of the future. Neuromancer is not the easiest book on the list, but it is one of the most influential. It helped popularize the feel of cyberspace before the internet became part of ordinary life, which gives it a strange double effect. It can feel old and prophetic at the same time. The prose moves quickly, but it does not always explain itself. That is part of the experience. For an AI reader, the key value is not a single robot or a single laboratory problem. The value is atmosphere. Intelligence feels distributed. Information feels physical. Technology feels glamorous and dirty at once. If I, Robot is about rules, and Klara and the Sun is about perception. Neuromancer is about systems that are too large for ordinary trust. Start here if you already like cyberpunk noir, hackers, virtual worlds, or books that make you learn their rhythm as you go. Do not start here if you want a gentle explanation of artificial intelligence ethics. Read it when you want the genre to feel sharper, colder, and more stylish. Ex Machina. The screenplay. Alex Garland. This screenplay is a compact science fiction reading experience about testing, performance, intelligence, and the danger of confusing observation with understanding. A screenplay is not a novel, so the reading experience is different. That difference is exactly why it belongs in this list. Ex Machina is spare, controlled, and easy to finish quickly. You are not reading for lush description. You are reading for pressure, structure, and the shape of a conversation. That makes it useful for people who want AI ethics without a long commitment. The central value is the testing frame. Many AI stories ask whether a machine can think. This one makes the reader pay attention to who designs the test, what the test ignores, and how easily confidence can become a weakness. It also helps beginners see that artificial intelligence fiction does not need huge battles or vast futures to feel serious. A room, a set of rules, and a few carefully limited perspectives can be enough. Choose this if you want something short, cinematic, and discussion-friendly. Pair it with iRobot for a classic rule-based contrast, or with Klara and the Sun for a quieter emotional contrast. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. Robert A. Heinlein. This classic science fiction novel mixes politics, rebellion, and machine intelligence with a broad social setting and a dry sense of systems thinking. The artificial intelligence element here is not only about consciousness and isolation. It is about what happens when intelligence is tied to infrastructure, communication, organization, and political pressure. That makes the book useful for readers who want AI to matter at the level of society, not just at the level of one relationship. The reading experience is older in style than Klara and the Sun or Ex Machina. Expect more political argument, more social design, and more attention to how people coordinate. The book is interesting because the machine intelligence does not feel separate from the world around it. It sits inside the practical machinery of everyday life and power. That gives the story a different kind of relevance for modern readers who think about platforms, automation, and decision systems. Choose this after you have read at least one quieter AI book. It works especially well after I, Robot because both are classics, but they ask different questions. One focuses on rules and behavior, the other focuses on power and organization. Klara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro. This quiet literary science fiction novel follows artificial intelligence through observation, loyalty, and emotional interpretation rather than spectacle or technical explanation. Klara and the Sun is the gentlest entry on this list, but gentle does not mean simple. It is a strong pick for readers who usually avoid science fiction because it feels too mechanical. The sentences are clear, the pace is patient, the experience is built around noticing small details and slowly understanding how an artificial mind might organize the world. What makes the book valuable for an AI theme is its humility. It does not ask the reader to admire futuristic machinery. It asks the reader to sit with attention, dependence, and the limits of interpretation. That makes it a useful counterweight to cyberpunk and hard-edge classics. If Neuromancer is crowded and electric, Klara and the Sun is quiet and sunlit, even when the questions underneath are serious. Choose this first if you want emotional clarity, literary restraint, and a low barrier to entry. It is also a good recommendation for book clubs because it invites discussion without requiring the group to know a long science fiction tradition. I, Robot, Isaac Asimov. This linked collection of classic science fiction stories explores machine behavior, human assumptions, and ethical rules through clear puzzles and memorable thought experiments. I, Robot is one of the most reliable starting points for the artificial intelligence theme because it is structured around ideas that are easy to grasp. The famous 3 laws of robotics give readers a simple frame, then the stories test that frame in different situations. That makes the book feel approachable even if you do not read much older science fiction. The important thing is to read it as a foundation, not as a modern technology prediction. Some social details feel dated, but the decision problems still work. The book trains the reader to ask careful questions. What rule is being followed? What assumption did the humans make? What happens when a clean principle meets a messy situation? That habit is useful for every other book on this list. Choose I, Robot if you want the clearest classic entry. It pairs well with almost everything. Read it before the moon is a harsh mistress if you want classic AI in a more structured form first, or before Ex Machina if you want to see how the genre moved from rules towards suspicion. Klara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro. This quiet literary science fiction novel is the easiest emotional entry point for readers who want AI without heavy machinery or dense world building. If you are new to AI fiction, the gentlest 2-book path is Klara and the Sun first, then I, Robot. That order works because it starts with feeling and attention before moving into classic rule-based problems. Klara teaches you to read an artificial point of view slowly. I, Robot then gives you a cleaner framework for thinking about rules, exceptions, and human misunderstanding. This path is also strong for viewers who do not think of themselves as science fiction readers. Neither choice requires a large fictional universe. Neither asks you to memorize technology. Both can be discussed through ordinary human concerns, like care, duty, trust, and fear of being wrong. The trade-off is that this route is not the flashiest. It does not begin with neon streets or political revolution. That is a benefit for many beginners. It lowers the pressure. Once those 2 books make the theme feel approachable, you can move toward Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep for moral unease or Neuromancer for style and density. Start soft if you want confidence. Escalate later. Neuromancer, William Gibson. This cyberpunk novel is the sharpest style jump on the list, especially when paired with Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep for a darker AI path. If you want artificial intelligence fiction to feel strange, urban, and unstable, read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep first, then Neuromancer. Philip K. Dick prepares you for doubt. Gibson then expands that doubt into networks, language, and digital atmosphere. Together they show why AI stories are not only about machines becoming human, they are also about humans changing their ideas of reality, identity, and trust. This route is better for readers who enjoy mood and texture. It is less ideal for readers who want everything explained in plain order. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is shorter and more philosophical. Neuromancer is more demanding and more stylized. Reading them in that order gives you a useful ramp instead of throwing you into the hardest texture immediately. Choose this path if you like noir, cyberpunk, adaptation history, and books that leave room for uncertainty. Add Ex Machina after them if you want the same unease in a smaller, more controlled setting. That creates a strong 3-book lane for readers who enjoy suspicion more than comfort. Ex Machina. The screenplay, Alex Garland. This screenplay becomes especially useful when you read it beside I, Robot, because both works care about tests, rules, and confidence. The ethics path is simple. Read I, Robot first, then Ex Machina. Asimov gives you a classic frame where rules can be stated clearly and then examined. Garland gives you a modern frame where the act of testing becomes part of the danger. The contrast is valuable because it shows how the genre changed. Older AI fiction often asks whether rules can protect people. Newer AI fiction often asks whether people understand the test they think they are running. This path is also good for viewers who want a shorter commitment. I, Robot is a collection, so it can be read in pieces. Ex Machina is a screenplay, so it moves quickly. Together they create a focused mini-syllabus on artificial intelligence ethics without requiring a giant novel. Choose this route if your main interest is decision-making, responsibility, and the limits of cleverness. After that, move to Klara and the Sun for emotional ambiguity, or The Moon is a Harsh Mistress for political scale. The theme opens outward from there. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, Robert A. Heinlein. This classic is the best scale expansion after you understand AI as rules, observation, or personal unease. The system's path should start with I, Robot. Move to The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, and then move to Neuromancer if you want a more modern network texture. That order matters because it increases complexity in a readable way. First you learn how rule problems work. Then you see artificial intelligence connected to infrastructure and political organization. Then you enter a world where intelligence, data, crime, and culture blur together. This is the route for readers who think AI is most interesting when it changes institutions. It is less about one conversation and more about coordination, pressure, and control. That makes it useful for modern viewers who are thinking about automation, platforms, surveillance, and decision systems, even when the books themselves come from different eras. The warning is pace. This path is more demanding than the gentle route. It asks you to tolerate older prose, political discussion, and dense style. If that sounds tiring, read Klara and the Sun first. If that sounds exciting, this route gives the theme its widest frame. I, Robot, Isaac Asimov. This classic collection is the safest single starting point. If you want one book that explains why artificial intelligence fiction became a lasting genre conversation. For most beginners, the practical order is I, Robot, Klara and the Sun, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Ex Machina, the Screenplay, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, and Neuromancer. That is not a historical ranking or a quality ranking. It is a pressure ladder. You begin with the clearest rules, then you move to emotional perception, then you add moral unease, testing, political scale, and finally cyberpunk density. This order also keeps the viewer from mistaking AI fiction for one mood. It can be logical, tender, paranoid, theatrical, political, or stylish. That range is the whole point of the video. Artificial intelligence is not one subgenre. It is a question that changes shape depending on the book around it. If you only buy one, choose I, Robot for the classic foundation, or Klara and the Sun for the most accessible modern experience. If you want the strongest conversation starter, choose Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Full book links and the complete order are in the description of the long guide.